been outside running today. It's a little bit lively. I do have to say I ventured out round about midday. The wind had died down and I thought, oh, that's going to be a great opportunity. But boy, it was hard work, and I can hear trees rattling, doors rattling, windows rattling right now. So I know the wind is up again this evening. So stay safe, guys. If you're out running this evening, just watch out. Don't go anywhere near trees. Okay, so a lot of us are now starting to train, and we're starting our training for Virtual Run London. I'm Helen, I'm the Cheesecake Runner, and I help first-time marathoners get trained, ready and prepared to run their race. And each day over the next few weeks, I'm going to be going live with some tips for you to help you prepare to run your Virtual London race. So it's day 2. So we're on to tip number 2. If you missed day 1, yesterday I gave you some tips around how to decide how you're going to be running your virtual London race. So make sure you check out that video. It really is the foundation for all the videos that I'm going to be doing in this little series, because unless you've made a decision about how you're going to be running it, training, you could be doing anything really. So you really need to make sure you've decided how you're going to run it on the day, and then we can start thinking about training and race day prep. So today we're on that day 2, and today I'm going to be giving you some tips about finalizing your training plan. So I'd love to know, are you running Virtual London? A lot of people who are so excited about this. Let me know in the comments, whereabouts in the country are you going to be running? And have you watched the video I did last night where I gave you some tips about deciding about how you're going to be running the race? So have you decided whether you're going to run it in one go, or are you going to chunk it up, break up the run and maybe run a half and then a couple of 10Ks, breaking it up with some sort of rest breaks throughout the course of the day? So once you've done that, you need to think about training. Guys, even if you're going to be walking 26.2 miles, or even if you're a regular marathon runner and you're going to be running it, taking walk breaks or chunking it out through the day, you do need to train. You do need to get your body ready for the race day. So in this short video, I'm going to give you some things to consider to help you think about your training plan and get trained and prepared to run. But once you've got that training plan underway, make sure that you've signed up to my Get Your Virtual Marathon Race Prep Right workshop. I'm doing a workshop next Wednesday where I'm going to give you the essential race day preparation advice that you need so you can get confident you've done all the prep that you need to do ahead of the day, so you're not freaked out the evening before your Virtual London run thinking, I've forgotten it, I've forgotten food, I've forgotten my route, how am I going to do this? So next Wednesday, I've got a full evening workshop. It's going to be about half an hour to an hour, and make sure you signed up, because I'm going to cover your back. You're going to think about all those things that you need to be doing to get yourself prepared. Okay, Becky's going to be doing it. She's going to be doing it all in one go. Woohoo! Go, Becky! You superstar. Okay, so now you've worked out what you want to be doing to achieve, to run your 26.2 miles in October. You then need to think about your training plan. So Becky's going to be doing it all in one go. I'm hoping that Becky has been training for that for a good few months, because running 26.2 miles all in one go is going to be quite tough. We've got Sarah who's running it in Northolt all in one go. Well done, Sarah. I know you've been training. Oh, the penguins are getting itchy feet. Come on, penguins. I know you can do it. So even if you're thinking about planning on walking your 26.2 miles with friends, or you're going to be planning to, or you're going to break it up into manageable sort of 10K or 5K chunks, you still need to train, guys. If you're not used to covering that sort of distance, however you decide to complete the race, you need to prepare your body for the day. Okay, so I'm going to be giving you just a few pieces of tips and advice about what you need to think about in relation to your training plan. Okay, so first up, if you've been following a marathon training plan, okay, so I'm hoping that the guys who are doing it all in one go have already been following a marathon training plan, and we should have. I've been training since back in June. I'm planning to do it all in one go at the moment. Although I've got a friend who's running New Forest Marathon, and I'm kind of tempted. Don't say that. Shh. So I might do a couple. I might break it up. I might have some fun on race day. But if you're going to be doing the race all in one go, then you will have been following a marathon training plan, and I highly recommend you just stick at that training plan. If you're planning to really run the race or run the virtual run in the same way that you would be running London or any other marathon, okay? So if you're that's what you're doing, stick with it. Fabulous. But it's going to be a lot harder running it on your own. Even if you're going to be running it with a few other friends, you haven't got the race backup of all of the other race support, drink stations, things like that. So there's a lot that you need to be thinking about. You're not going to have the atmosphere of millions of people in London cheering you on. It's like a 26.2 mile red carpet running London. And wherever you're going to be running in the country, you're probably not going to be getting that atmosphere. So you need to prepare yourself for that it's probably going to be a little bit harder, especially in that final 10K after you've got to 20 miles. So guys who are going to be doing it, planning to run it all as if they were running London, just make sure that you've planned in how you're going to run your final 10K. What is your strategy to manage your mind? Because the final 10K is all about mindset. It's not about legs. Your legs are shot by then. Your body's shot. It's all about convincing your mind that you can still move and your legs can still get over. So my advice for you guys, if this is your first marathon, is to start brain training, okay? Start pushing through, working out in your long runs when your brain suddenly goes, do you know what, we've had enough, we want to go home. How are you going to keep yourself motivated to keep on track and to keep running when there are no cameras, there are no supporters out there are no people cheering your name, okay? So that's my biggest piece of advice that anyone who's planning to run virtual London as if it was a regular race. Okay, so other guys, if you've been following a training plan and you're thinking, do you know what, running it like a race like that's a bit tough, I'm going to be a bit easier on myself. You might have been following a plan and thinking about taking walk breaks, doing sort of a run and then taking a walk break. Or you might be thinking about chunking up your run into, maybe a half and then a couple of 10Ks or something like that. Even if you've been training since June, or maybe you've been training since last October, I do know a few people who, as soon as they found out they were in the ballot, they started running and they haven't stopped. You need to adapt your training plan so that you are going to be running or at least doing your long runs in the similar way that you will be doing on race day. So we always say no surprises on race day. Don't ever do anything new on race day. So my advice for you, even if you have been training diligently, is to keep going with your midweek runs, keep going with your strength and conditioning work, but take a look at your long runs between now and October. And what I recommend you do is If you're planning something like a walk run, then from now onwards in your long runs, test out the run walk strategy that you're going to be using on virtual run day. So for example, you might have thinking that you're going to run for 20 minutes and then take a 5-minute walk break, or run for half an hour and then a 5-minute walk break. Do that in your long runs from now onwards, and then you can feel what it's actually like. So there really are no surprises on race day. Taking those walk breaks is amazing. It really does mean that you're going to be super strong at the back ends of your marathon. So I really advise as many of you who are a little bit nervous about this to adopt that strategy. It gives you so much more energy at the back ends of your run if you've done all those pre-planned walk breaks, okay, right from the word go. I've used this in one of the marathons that I ran a few years back where I'd been injured through training and I still wanted to run, and it was amazing. And it's not cheating at all. So any running snobs who tell you it's cheating, they can just go do one. You are worthy of the medal and your banana and your t-shirt. So practice it in your long runs, okay, just to make sure it's kind of the right interval, and you'll find out the next day after your long runs you're feeling a little bit fresher. Takes much less time to recover, okay. And what about if you've been in training and you are planning on chunking up your run on race day? So you're thinking, do you know what? 26.2 miles is a bit much in one go. Then what I suggest you do is you want to be chunking up your long run, okay? So in my Marathon Club Hub group, I have one guy who has been training with me since June. In fact, even earlier than that, we did some pre-training, and he's decided he's going to do a half. In fact, he's going to do 2 halves, I think. That's what he's decided on. And so what I've recommended to him is he splits his long run in 2. Maybe not 2 even ones, but so for example, this week I think we're doing 15 miles. And so this week I've suggested he does a long run of 10 miles, has a break, and then does 5 miles, okay? And the reason I'd like you to think about doing that is you need to get used to running after a break. It is not as easy as you might think. So if you are going to chunk up your runs, practice it. Get your body used to having a bit of a break. And what I suggest you do is think about what you're going to be doing on race day. So are you going to have an hour rest, or 2 hours, or you're going to pretty much sit on your ass for the whole day and go out in the evening? You decide. Wouldn't really recommend that. I'd recommend you doing shorter breaks. But what I suggest you do in your long runs is, like I just suggested, that 15 milers, take a break in the middle of maybe an hour and then get back out there. You need to work out what it feels like to run start running again when your body might have been feeling a little bit stiff because you've already done a big run, okay? And what it's like to motivate yourself to get back out there and run, okay? Chunking up the 26.2 miles is a great way to be able to get round it, but you need to make sure you've practiced it so there's no surprises on race day. Likewise, if you're thinking of doing the chunks, or you're thinking of doing it all in one go, but you're thinking, right, first half I'm going to run, next 10k I'm going to do walk run, and then the final 10k I'll crawl on my hands and knees if I have to get to 26.2 miles. What I then suggest you do is, again, do something very similar in your long training runs. So if you're thinking about doing it all in one go, but you're going to get to half, fully run, and then you're going to do that one run walk, do it exactly the same in your long training run. So if you've got a 15-mile training run the 10 miles, and then the final 5 miles, practice your walk run at the same way that you're going to be doing it on virtual run day, okay? And that way you can get used to everything that's going to happen on the day. So on the day, it's going to feel perfectly natural that, it's all, you're not going to have to worry about things. It's going to be, I'm just going for another long run. Hey, but I'm going to get a medal at the end of this one. Okay, so that's what I recommend you do, and that's what I suggest you do if you've been training hard, training good since June. Okay, so there's another group of you who didn't start training until 2 weeks ago, or you might not have started training, or you might be going, is this really going to happen? Not sure about this. Okay, so we do recognize that a lot of you put it off because you wanted to be certain about what was going to happen with London. But fine, okay, you're still going to get out there. You are going to run, or walk, or crawl, or cry, and you are going to earn yourself a medal and some t-shirts. Yay! Right, guys, we've got some hard work to do. There is no doubt about it. This is going to hurt, okay? Unless you really do start taking this seriously. Again, you need to start thinking about training as if you were training for a marathon. You cannot train for a marathon, go from couch to marathon in 6 weeks. So we need to make sure you've got, running pedigree, okay? And I hope you set your goals accordingly. But what you need to be doing is making sure that your body is strong and is strong enough to be able to get you around those 26.2 miles with a bit of running and a bit of walking, maybe a bit more walking, and then maybe walking. So you've got to think about realistically how you're going to get around those 26 miles. And again, you need to start training. So midweek, you need to be doing some hard work sessions to build your cardiovascular endurance, build your running strength. So get out there, do some hills, do some speed work. Let's get going. Also, you need to be doing conditioning work. I don't want anyone to get injured between now and race day, or to get unnecessarily injured on the day itself, because I know if you're going to do virtual London, you're probably in for the race and for next year, or you want to run it next year, and you don't want to get yourself injured, so you miss races next spring. I'm sure you're going to be into wanting to run some halves, and definitely don't want to get injured for running London next year. So make sure that you are doing conditioning work to build up your strength in your body, and also improve your body's running resilience. Okay, so make sure you're doing it. I know a lot of runners going, I don't want to do conditioning, don't like this, but make sure that you are doing that. Okay, so that's conditioning. Other things that you need to be doing are you need to make sure. So you need to be doing a long run, and you need to be doing the midweek runs. So the long runs, again, very, very similar is what I would recommend to the people who have already been doing training. So you need to make sure that you are practicing your long runs in the same way that you are going to be running the race on the day. Okay, so make sure you've got yourself a plan. Write yourself a plan there. There are a few plans around that are helping people. A lot of charities now pull things together and to get people going and help them with their training. So make sure you've got something. The worst thing you could be doing right now, if you haven't done much running or haven't done much training over the last few weeks and months, is to wing it and to think, or not do anything at all. Now you need to get back out there. You need to start running, and you need to start taking this seriously. Otherwise, it is going to hurt. Okay, so I hope those tips have been useful. So in summary, you need to be thinking about a plan now to get yourself trained to run virtual London in October. And your plan needs to, firstly, reflect how you're going to really take on your 26.2 miles. So do your long runs in the same way that you're going to be doing your 26.2 miles. So you want to be practicing run walking in your long runs if that's how you're going to be taking them on, doing it on the day. You need to be practicing chunking up your runs if that's what you're going to be doing on the day, and getting used to what it feels like to get back out there running after an hour or so's break. You need to also make sure that you're doing conditioning work to build your body strong and fit for race day. So over the next few days, I'm going to be coming on live to give you some more tips about how to train and get prepared for race day. But guys, the weeks are ticking by quickly, and soon is going to be time to run our virtual London race. So it really is now is the time to start planning and getting prepared for the day. And next Wednesday, I'm doing a workshop. It's not on Facebook. You need to sign up for this one. I'm doing a workshop to help you get your virtual London race prep right. So in this workshop, I'm going to help you get organised for the final weeks of your training and preparations, so you can be confident that you can power through your 26.2 miles right to the finish line, right to the end of your virtual London marathon on the day. So what are we going to be talking about? I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to help you finalise the logistics and everything that you need to be doing to get organised and to get yourself ready to run on the day. So it's not just about turning up in the park and deciding you're going to run. There are all sorts of other things that you need to be sorting out because you don't have the race backup crew doing it for you. I'm also going to be talking about taper. So in this workshop, this little video, I'll be talking about training. A few weeks before you actually run, you need to start backing off on your training, and that's called taper. You start tapering off your training. In the workshop, I'm going to explain why it's so important to taper ahead of your race and your virtual run, and I'll give you an idea of what you could be doing to get yourself ready and recovered from your training, getting yourself ready to run virtual London. And I'm also going to be giving you some tips about what to eat on race week and how to load your body with energy to power around your run, and things around carb loading, which can be so confusing to a lot of people who've never thought about what they need to eat for a run, and definitely not run a marathon. So if that's you, if this is going to be your first attempt at 26.2 miles, you really can't afford to miss this workshop. I'm going to be going live at 7:30 next Wednesday, and you can save your spot for the workshop by clicking the link below the video, okay? So make sure that you do that. There are going to be limited spaces available for the workshop, and it really is first come, first served. But if this is your first time of 26.2 miles, I'm going to give you some invaluable information to help you get going. Okay, so I hope that's been useful for you. Got the weekend ahead. I'm going to be out for my long run on Sunday. Hope you all going to be out there practicing your long runs, practicing getting yourself in shape, getting trained, ready and prepared for virtual London Day. Watch out for my next videos, which will probably be coming later on this weekend. Take care and have a fab running weekend. Bye.